Welcome to Declassified Beyond the Brief with me, Devendra Subedi. In this episode of Declassified, I am speaking to a youth whose journey from an aspiring management student to a leader, that too of a GenZ movement, created headlines across the globe. Miraj Dhungana is one of the founders of a GenZ movement in Nepal that was successful in making its voices heard in Nepal with unprecedented political changes in the country. In this episode, we declassify, we try to explore the GenZ movement, the beginning and the achievements so far. Is there a risk of the movement and the gains disintegrating with the recent division and differences within the team? We try to find the answers. Welcome to the show, Miraj.
Thank you so much.
How it has been so far after the GenZ movement, Miraj?
Certainly the life I had previously had is not the same. I've had to make some lifestyle changes because this is something that was unprecedented, as you said. So yeah, things have been very different. Yeah.
Different in what sense? Your personal daily life or your overall management of yourself? Where did you find the basic changes happening in your life?
Yeah, I think personally also my life has changed. I'm not able to, wander in the streets as I used to before. And the government, the country has also seen a massive change. That in turn has also changed me personally and in many other aspects.
You must be happy because that's what you fought for, that's what you initiated.
Yes, happy in a way, yes.
Now, you are the crush of the nation right now. Does that compliment you? How does it feel when you hear people saying, hey, he's the crush of the nation?
I mean, it was something I felt good about at first, but this has happened for quite a few
times earlier, but this time
Yeah.
it's the nation that is crushing for you.
It feels good, but I am getting used to it, to be very honest.
Okay. Let's start our conversation with the GenZ movement, an overview of the GenZ movement that you initiated initially.
Yeah.
Was the September 8th incident, whatever happened in Nepal, was that a movement or a protest or a revolution? What word would you say defines that day particularly?
So I would say the protest on the 8th incident was a protest.
Okay.
We're fighting against a system that was so, into the corruption, and we're actually fighting for the crippled government, the bad governance, the dissatisfaction we had for decades, the times we had been deceived. We were promised one thing and we were not delivered, and I think the frustration was building up. Young people decided to come out together to fight for what is right for the country, to fight for their rights. So the 8th day incident was a protest. Then the 9th was, I think, a mass movement because people saw young kids getting killed mercilessly. They were shot on the chest, shot on the head, So it was a very bloody incident that happened on 8th. And then I think people from all the age groups, they came out because they could not take it, They could not take it.
Do you, I mean, we have heard publicly you and your fellow leaders of the GenZ movement disowning the 9th September incidents and the vandalism that happened during the course. Do you mean to say that even the next day, that is the 9th of September, what happened, that was a sporadic let's say, people's chain reaction to the events that happened on the
It was certainly a chain reaction, I would say so, but I am not disowning it, and I don't think other people, other Gen Zs were leading it. I don't think they were disowning it either.
You mean to say you own the incidents that happened on the 9th of September?
Yes, we collectively own the incident. We don't disown it.
That's a pretty strong statement that you have made because in some, let's say, statements from the GenZ leaders from various let's say groups earlier, they said that was not our movement on the second day. Tell us more about, I just asked about the movement itself. Now tell me something about the origin. As far as I have heard and read, heard you as well in some of the other statements while you're making in other shows, that you were the one who initiated the movement somewhere in a digital platform.
Okay, what I would say is, I was maybe one of the first and prominent voices to make people aware, to let them know, maybe the first whistleblower about this protest, yes. And my voice was very prominent. I think I was very widely heard, and a lot of people got involved into this movement because of all the content, all the things, all the voices I was putting out. So yeah, I think the origin, when we go to the origin, I think people had dissatisfaction with the government, you know. We had been deceived multiple times. Our voices were not heard, and the country was in a very bad state. People had a very low standard living. We still have a low standard of living. Collectively, we have low standard of living compared to other countries who have, you know, the resources, but we are not able to utilize these resources as much as we wanted to. The government was not paying attention, and I think about the origin, I think previously people were able to, you know, voice their dissatisfaction about the government through social media platforms. You know, you had so much anger, but you could always put it on social media, and you know, you could vent something out.
Okay.
But when government decided to be, you know, take some autocratic action, like banning multiple social media platforms, I think that was the last thread, the final thread. When that broke, all the hell loose broke. People were now willing to come to the streets.
So correct me if I am wrong. So you mean to say that the youth generation's voice was not heard, but for those who had been running the established institutions in this country, they said we didn't hear their voice at all. So you mean to say that the social media platforms, the digital landscape that the youths normally use, that was the platform where the voices were, and they did not take it seriously earlier. That's where the triggered, as you said, the last thread was the banning of the social media that triggered.
Yeah, it was the final thread, yes. But I wouldn't say this was the origin of it, you know. The dissatisfaction with the government, you know, the poverty, the lack of employment in our country. I think these things were the contributing factors. Now people had this the frustration inside them, and the social media platform banning was the final threat that set everybody free.
Okay. Were you very popular in social media platforms, like you had plenty of followers?
No, not at all.
How was that widely heard thing happened?
So no, not at all. So what happened is, I was not so popular, but I was in a way politically aware. For my age, I think I was politically aware. So I started making videos about what was the cancer behind the system. You know, what was causing the failing government, the unstable government. We had government collapsing every 8-12 months. We didn't have a permanent government. So I was pointing out what was causing this, why young people of our age had to leave the country, why the massive brain drain, and why families had to be separated from their children. You know, they had to go abroad to earn a living. So these were the things I was constantly voicing before 2-3 days of the protest, and I think people resonated with it, and I think because of it they wanted to come, they decided to come. So yeah, I believe that my voices did make a difference and invited people to participate in this, you know, a movement that would
Can I call it the awakening of a generation?
Yes.
That was an awakening of a generation.
I wouldn't even call it the awakening of a generation. I would call it the awakening of Nepali citizens.
Okay.
Not only the Gen Zs.
You have been blamed of being the person who filed an application at the district administration office to organize the protest on that particular day, on the 8th of September. So, being that one, we didn't see you in the protest. You were not there.
No,
I have heard you explaining these things to our viewers and to all others. Can you explain that particular day and your absence?
So the thing is, I was not the one who filed the application for the protest. I was not the one. And the second thing is, I'm actually really tired of explaining this. Now, we had multiple groups. Let me make this very short. We had multiple groups, and one of the groups, they had some kind of conflict with me, and they decided that they would hold play card against me, calling me out.
Okay.
After all I tried to do, all the awareness and everything. After all I did, they were not in favor of me. But I did have other groups. I did have my other friends go to the protest. So, and the thing is, we didn't think that this would happen in 28 hours. This was historic. We didn't think this would happen in 28 hours, and I was planning to go the second day, but everything happened so quick.
Were you seeing this movement being as successful as it happened? Or you hadn't imagined this would be?
No. This was very unprecedented, to be very honest. But we did make history, and that is something.
All right. You didn't only make history, you became inspiration to the world as well. How does it feel now?
I wouldn't say I am the inspiration behind it. I think the whole of Nepal, the Nepali citizens, they are the inspiration behind it. It is. I think we held the record for the fastest revolution. That is something, and I know us Nepalis, we have got it in us, and it is very inspiring. Yes, to the world.
My last question in this segment: why change? You have said a few things earlier. All right. What inspired the whole generation that was otherwise very indifferent to politics? You said you were aware politically, but what we find, most of the youths are very indifferent towards politics, the socio-political affairs. Why this change?
How I would like to say it is, there are two different kinds of people in a crowd. One are the frustrated ones in the crowd, and one are the politically conscious ones in the crowd, in the protest crowd. Now, frustration is something that can be shared by everyone. The frustration with the government. You see, jobs in the country, bad living standard, no well-paying jobs, all these things. So you see this, and you see government doing nothing about it. They promised us the world, they gave us nothing.
Is it not ourselves who chose these leaders earlier to govern us?
It is us who chose the leaders, yes. We chose the leaders on the basis of the promises they made. They promised that they would deliver, but they didn't.
So it's the lack of delivery and only promises, that's where your concern is.
Yes, lack of delivery.
In the second part of the conversation now, we talk about the achievements of the movement. How far, Miraj, have been your demands been materialized so far? You have had a set of demands earlier. Now, if you have to just, let's say, categorically break it down, how many demands have been met so far?
The primary agendas have not been fulfilled. We are hopeful about the government that they are going to be fulfilled, but the primary ones, the agenda for which we fought, have not been heard, have not been addressed. But we are very hopeful of the government.
Now, this brings me to the other question. This is a government you people have chosen to lead.
Yes.
Is the change in government the only solution to deliver? Or there should be a change in the system as well? The bureaucracy, let's say, that up to the grassroots level, the chain that is governing this system.
Definitely, the change has to be within the system. People, if the system is good, if the system is very strong, it is going to bind people. It is not going to let people to do any mishaps, do any corruption of any sort. But if the system is weak, it cannot bind people to the law or anything, no accountability at all. So I believe that it is the system what we are trying to change, and it is the system what we should change.
These are some big fundamental changes that
Yes.
needed for that. Can you just, let's say, give us your current thought on the Constitution? Is it where your fundamental demands are not being met because of the current Constitution?
Yes, of course, it is because of the Constitution, yes.
So, do you see the Constitution being changed by this government, or How do you see this coming possible?
So there are multiple ways of making our agendas, of addressing our agendas. We have tried through this government to try to change, to make constitutional reforms where there needs to be for a better Nepal. We have tried it. Now I think now we want to call every stakeholder of this movement to come for a consensus. We call every party, the government, I want to be very specific about the kind of Gen Zs we want to invite. We want to invite educated, politically aware Gen Zs. Not everyone. You cannot let a truck driver run a plane. You have to have a very capable Gen Zs. Not every Gen Z. We have to be very specific about that. So we want to have a consensus and come to an agreement that these are the very necessary constitutional reforms that has to be done, that has to be implemented, or the lives lost are going to be of no use. So we have to be very serious about it.
With the differences, different multiple groups coming up in the GenZ circuit itself, and initially also, as per your explanation here, some were against you. That's why, to defame you, placards were being displayed there. So do you think with these sort of things going on within yourself, is it going to happen? Is this hard-fought achievement or the change going to be materialized?
Of course, yes. It is going to happen. It is going to happen, and it is upon people. It is upon people for whom they choose. They have to have this kind of critical judgment so that they are able to select not somebody who can speak. Everybody, salespeople are very much able to speak, but do they have content inside them or not? Are they politically aware? Are they educated? Do they understand how a country runs? Now, people, us, we need to select these people, even from the Gen Zs, not everybody.
Having said that again,
yes.
Will there be another tussle among your... Now, we have heard plenty of groups have emerged in the GenZ movement itself. Will there be another tussle within yourself to select those who are politically aware and those who are not?
I don't think there's going to be any sort of that serious tussle, to be very honest, because somebody, as I said, the criteria is somebody who is educated and somebody who is very politically aware, somebody who knows how to run a country. I think they and us, our fragment, Miraj Dhungana's fragment, which is Gauri Khana Dev, we have a very similar agendas. Now, these are the core ones that are going to change this country for better. So I think if people of the criteria I said, if they come forth, I think they are going to have a very similar agenda to us. There's going to be no argument or no tussle at all. Me being 25 years old, my parents used to say, you need to go abroad. There's nothing here. But I never wanted to leave my country. But I'm forced to, because there are no good paying jobs for somebody who is educated and somebody who can actually contribute to the economy. There's nothing. So our motto with this initiative is, so Gauri Khana Dev in English translates to, let us live and work in our own country. So this is our basic motto.
So that's a campaign you're launching?
Yeah, that is a campaign we're launching, and we're very, we're very concerned about this massive scale brain drain. Population is a limited resource for a country as small as us. So that is a very concerning issue.
Now this takes me back to your earlier statement saying we trust the people, we want the people to make the change. So does that mean that you are eyeing for the next election and you trust the people that they would be now, they are, as you said, they have also awakened now and they will choose the right leader, the right people to run this country, and you would go and take part in the election?
No, election, we are not looking at election. We are not thinking about it. We are not looking at election. We want to do these things before the election. I know an election is very necessary to give a country, an international legitimacy. Yes, we are not against it, but these agendas of ours, these agenda of Nepali people have to be addressed before the election.
Can you be specific on those agendas?
There's a quite long list of agendas,
but let's talk about the fundamental ones.
Okay, the fundamental ones are, so we have a very unstable government. The government falls in 8 to 12 months. So maybe that is the reason why we are falling short on development and opportunities. So we want a very stable government. So either that be a directly elected PM system or any system that would guarantee us stability. So we are pushing for a direct elect Prime Minister system, and we are yet to have a national level conference or discussion of a sort.
Because within this constitution, that's not possible right now.
It seems like it, but politics, as far as I've known, you can come out with solutions.
There can be solutions.
There can be solutions, yes.
Or interim setups, or,
Yes.
or in case of a compromised setup, there
Yes.
can be. It is a big ask. You have to bring every let's say stakeholders, including the established political parties.
Yeah, we're going
in
to
this.
do that.
You're confident about it?
Yes.
Have you had an interaction with the leaders of political parties of late?
No, I've had indirect discussion with them, yes. Because we have to come to a conclusion. We cannot let, so many people have lost their lives now. We cannot let it go to waste and, be prepared for the elections. It cannot, it is not ethical. My ethics does not give me to do that.
So
it has to be done before election, because nothing is guaranteed.
It sounds as if, with the conversation that we are having, it's just the beginning of the awakening that we are talking about.
Yes.
It's a long road ahead.
It is, okay, let us be more optimistic. I hope it is not a long way ahead. And I am in a way very confident that we can do this very soon.
All right, let's see how soon your agendas and the fundamental changes that you want would be materialized. In this part of the conversation, we talk about the envisioned future of this country. Well, Miraj, the desire to see a prosperous, booming Nepal, is it going to be a reality soon?
I think it is actually going to be reality very soon. Because you see, before this protest, before this movement, young people were not as politically literate as they are today. It has been 53, 54 days today. And I see, I see a lot of people hanging around reading the constitution and things as such, reading news. I think the prosperous future is very near.
The multiple groups that have emerged
Yes.
in your group, and initially they had said they are not interested in leading this the government or going into the government. Now, what I have read so far is that there are multiple groups coming. Some are going to the Election Commission to register parties. Some have already announced it, and they are bidding for the next election as well. Does it not contradict with the initial version of the GenZ leaders who said they would not prefer to go and lead, they would leave it to the experts?
So, I cannot answer for everybody that were taking part in leading the movement. I can only answer for myself, and I think I've stood with my stance. I have stood with my stance. Yes, some have decided that they would directly go into the elections. I do not agree with them. I don't think that is something that my conscience would morally allow me to do. And it is, in a way, it is very sad that some of these leaders decided to be very open for elections, but we do not have the similar idea. We are not seeking for elections, we are seeking for our agendas to be addressed. That is the first priority for us, and that is going to happen.
You're confident
Yes,
about it?
that is going to happen. That has to happen. There's no way around it.
What plans, let's say, Miraj Dhungana gets a chance to lead this country now,
Yes.
let's say,
Yes.
or make his influence to lead this country. What exact changes would you make in this country, in the system of governance, immediately?
So the first thing I would do is I would make sure the government is stable. Either that would be by changing the system of government we have, maybe direct elect, or maybe something else. We can have a discussion about this, but we want a government that stays its complete term. So first,
People elected government that's stable, right?
Yes. People elected government that is stable. Stability is the number one step. Now second is we are going to do substantial economical economical, we are going to have substantial economical progress. I think if people are prosperous, they don't need to go to some foreign country and be a second-class citizen there. The second thing is economic enhancement of the country. We have, we have 42,000 megawatt of potential in hydropower, and if we are able to realize the potential we have, we can have hundreds of millions of dollars annually. That is a lot of revenue, a big chunk of our budget. We are yet to add it to our budget, and we can do very good in tourism too. Spiritual tourism, adventure tourism, a lot of things. Mountain climbing and everything. So these are very few things. If we do another segment, I could come up with the whole potential Nepal has. We are very filled with resources. Just the government has to be chosen correctly. Government has to be responsible.
So the onus is on the people again to choose the right people.
No, I would not say that is the case. I would say the leaders have changed their word after coming to power. The system does not bind people to stay inside.
Is there a guarantee that Miraj Dhungana, after being elected, would not change his words?
Hang me if I do.
At least Miraj
yes.
has.
Hang me if I do.
But you can't speak for everyone. But for yours,
yes,
your
for
case,
me, I can. Yes.
Okay, that's a very strong thing you are saying. So you're very committed to what you should say. The leaders should be like that, and the people should be aware to choose that type of leaders who do not change when they come to ask for the vote and when they reach in power. All right, very interesting conversation we are having with Miraj Dhungana here. In the last part hour or so, we talk about democracy and the future of political parties, because the GenZ leaders and the GenZ movement has often been blamed of attacking them. Let's see what their or Miraj's view is on that. Miraj, is the system that you people are advocating democracy without parties or with parties, or what sort of system you are advocating?
No, I think since we are advocating for democracy, there is in no way we are attacking the multi-party system. The country needs to have option about the leadership they want to bring. So we are not against parties.
So parties will be part of this system when the country goes into
yes,
election.
they have to be. Yes.
What if?
Yes.
I earlier also asked, did you have any interaction with the party? What if they reject your agenda?
Let's be hopeful. They agree for the consensus. If they don't, we have plan A, plan B, plan C, and if they don't, I think I'll.
Can you reveal your plan B?
I am so sorry, I cannot. These are very discreet. These are classified. As you so said.
We cannot declassify them.
We cannot declassify it. No. So sorry.
Very interestingly, there is a plan B and plan C as well in place. But you're talking about the stable government that has been repeatedly in your rhetoric so far. Will that lead to the stable government? If you go to plan B, plan C again, this government doesn't work, let's change it. Now this also didn't work, let's change the other one. Does that address the same thing that you said?
No. The thing is a stable government in terms of governance system. Right now we have a parliamentary system where the PM is elected, and party, if they don't bring majority, they collectively make a government. So that is what is happening right now, and that does not give us a stable government. We are against it. We are trying to change the system where you have to have a coalition and there's always some party pulling the plug and the government collapsing again. We don't want that. We want a government to complete its term of 4 years and 5 years.
Even in this constitution and the current system, that's possible given that the party secures a majority.
Yes.
It's not impossible even within the constitution. So you mean to say that either a party, you get a majority and govern, otherwise you don't govern. Is it that what you're saying? To govern, you must have a majority, otherwise you can't.
So we are still in discussion about the nitty-gritty of it. So we have not come to a conclusion, we have not finalized it, but what we have finalized it is we are done with a system that gives us an unstable government. We want a stable government, and we are working on a system that is going to give us a stable government.
Ultimately, it's the people who gives the mandate in a democracy.
Yes.
Are you ready for that?
Of course.
But as you said, you need some fundamental changes before that.
Yes.
And that's going to happen.
That is going to happen.
So definitely you couldn't, let's say, explain to us your plan B and C, but you can explain to us how do you see that happening with all the stakeholders coming together?
What is happening is everybody is calling themselves a stakeholder. Now, as I said earlier, you cannot possibly ask a truck driver to drive an airplane. That cannot happen, you know, it is going to crash. So, likewise...
So, how would the people identify whether that's a truck driver or an airplane pilot?
Maybe we have a, you know, debate, a televised debate or something, you know, I cannot disclose exactly what we're planning to do, but that is going to happen is what I can assure you. That is going to happen. So that is going to happen by hook or by crook, but that is going to happen. The ones who are educated, politically literate, those people are very welcome, you know, to run the country. I think everybody, every citizen is going to have the same say. Somebody who is capable should only come, and that is going to be filtered out very soon.
So, form of governance is a concern for you more than the leadership.
Yes, very. We are very much serious about the system rather than people. You know, people, they come of all shapes and sizes, but if the system is strong, able to bind them within the law, the country is stable, the country is prosperous, the living standard goes up.
If you allow me to ask, do you see the political parties that were running this country and the government turn by turn earlier revising themselves, reforming themselves and coming to the agenda of yours?
You know, my answer would be kind of similar as I said earlier. I cannot say for everybody, but I think, you know, to be able to go to people's door and to ask for them to vote them, they have to be able to show their face. You know, they cannot, I don't see any moral grounds they can step on and go to ask to go to people's door to ask for votes. They have to at least agree to something. You know, 78 people died, 1500 are injured. The Singha Darbar got burned, Supreme Court got burnt. You know, it has to happen. Or what moral grounds do they hold to go to ask to vote them, to make to let them win?
Will they take the blame, or are you blaming them that you are responsible for all those things that happened?
No, I think we take collective blame, you know.
We all have to.
Yeah, we all have to take collective blame. There's no one single individual that can be blamed for this. True. There's no evidence to prove it, or nothing.
Your movement has been internationally seen and very closely monitored as well. And there has been a lot of blames at times as well of a foreign influence on that. Do you have anything to say on that?
Well, now if I say it would all be, you know, a conspiracy. So I don't want to speak about conspiracy. If I have, you know, evidence, I would speak about it, but let's not talk about conspiracy here.
My last question to you, Miraj. How do you inculcate hope in the people after all these things that have happened? Every 10 years, another revolution, another protest that changes the system, that asks for a change in the overall setup. How do you inculcate that pretty hope in the common people at this point of time?
So the way I, you know, I and my generation give people hope is the protest we did it out of, you know, sheer emotion. Some were politically aware, yes, but you know, we could not keep the dissatisfaction to us anymore. We did it out of sheer emotion, very true emotion. So maybe, and also the age, you know, we're people from maybe not so corrupt age. As you grow older, maybe you get more corrupt, but we are very sacred or pure until now. And if educated young people, literate young people, politically aware young people, if they come forth and they keep agendas that are collectively good for the country, I think people are going to be hopeful towards us. So I think in that way, I think we're going to give people hope in the coming days.
And the people should be hopeful and also be very wise when it comes to making decisions. That's pretty.
Yeah, one thing I want to, you know, the current situation is people are very critical, but they are not hopeful. This is my, you know, my complaint with the society, or, you know, my complaint with the society, because they're very, very quick to label people. Somebody as young as me, I get accused of so many things. Now, I urge people, Nepali people, to be hopeful and not critical all the time. You have heard other people, you have, trusted the older leaders to change the country. Trust us one more time, or you don't trust and nobody is going to make the country. We have to be hopeful in order for the country to, be prosperous. I think I urge that to Nepali people to be more hopeful than critical.
Thank you for your time
Thank you
and
so
your
much.
thoughts, Miraj.
Thank you
Good
so
luck
much.
for your future plans.
Thank you.
Well, we're having a conversation in this episode of Declassified Beyond the Brief with Miraj Dhungana, a youth who became an icon overnight. Do keep us following on our website, nepaltvworld.com, our social media platforms. For the time being, from this episode of Declassified Beyond the Brief, it's me, Devendra, saying bye-bye.